Is this thing on? Alright, 03 Sierra 1500 two-wheel drive, stock. I'm going to put some shit on this thing, and it's going to be about 6 inches taller when we're done, because got all these rough country parts, AC Delco parts, new ball joints, new tie rod ends, lift block, spacers, knuckles, shocks, springs. So we're getting new Timken bearings. And job says 5 to 7 hours, but I think it's going to take us a little longer.
You have something that'll fit this on your impact?
Yeah.
Oh, do you?
So this is got on the jack stands. This is 7 inches on this side, right? 8 on the other.
Yeah,
So it's pretty close to what it'll be on the front. We're gonna start taking it apart. Okay, so we got the front wheel off, and this is the before.
Think it's okay right here?
Yeah. Well, we got the knuckle off, and it was a real bitch. Tore up that lower ball joint, but we're replacing it anyway. And I think before we go any farther, we need to put in the new ball joints. So we need to press out the top one, and we need to chisel off the bottom. Okay, so we got everything out. We had to take the whole lower control arm out because the old ball joint is riveted in, and we tried to cut it off. We got one off, and then we just decided it was going to take too long, so we bought an all new assembly with the new ball joint riveted in. So the next step is to reinstall that, and then put the new bearings that we bought onto the new spindles, and then shock and everything back together. And there's the new ball joint that we already got into. Okay, so we tried to get the spring in, and we didn't feel like we could compress it safely without a spring compressor, so we're going to go get one. But we got the lower control arm on. Alright guys, so this kit is supposed to take 5 to 7 hours to put in, and we started yesterday at about 10 o'clock. We ended about 8 p.m. so took us 10 hours, and all we got done was this driver's side, and we had a bunch of problems, but should go quicker now that we know what we're doing. So it's about 6:30 in the morning the next day, and we're gonna start tearing down the other side. Okay, so here we are on the passenger side. We're gonna start tearing this down this morning. Hopefully we don't wake up the neighbors. And now that we know what we're doing, it should go a lot quicker. And then the rear of the truck should be pretty quick, because it's just a couple of blocks and some U-bolts. Tip of advice: this is the Rough Country 4.5 kit, and if you try to stack the 1.5 inch leveling spacer on top of the 4.5 inch spring, it won't fit. We didn't know that, and it cost us about 2 hours yesterday. So this is the spring without the leveling spacer. As you can see, we're reassembling already. We're about, what, 15 hours ahead of schedule there? Got the new bearing on the new knuckle. We figured out which side to put the brake line on this time. You know, we can't use a 1.5 inch leveling kit with a 4.5 inch spring. No. So should be done in about 10 minutes. Okay, so the passenger side is done. Just need to torque everything to spec. And it's 8:50. We started at about 6:45, so 2 hours to do this side, and yesterday it took us 12.5 hours to do that side. That just goes to show you how much quicker it goes when you've done it once. So we're going to torque everything up. We greased everything, and now we're going to move on to the back. Alright, so we got the front buttoned up. Everything's tightened to factory spec. Everything's zip tied up. Cleaned the brakes, and we just sat it down. Looks a lot higher than it used to, that's for sure. We'll take a measurement after we move it, but we got to do the rear end first. That's good. This is what we like to call a Cali lean. And I don't know if you can tell, but look how bad the alignment is on the front wheels. Look at the camber, it's horrible. We're going to take it to an alignment shop today. Today's Sunday. And there's one open today, so we got to hurry up and get the back done. Alright, we're done. Got the block in, shock on. And this was the easiest part of the whole job, I think. So now we're going to throw the wheels on and get some measurements. And get in alignment. Alright, we're done. We've got the steps off. Everything's installed. Now we're going to go get in alignment. There's some weight in the back. That's probably why it doesn't look level, but it's all sewn up. You can see the alignment on this. How much camber it has. How much negative camber. Or that's called positive camber, I think, on the front when the top's out.
So you want a positive camber?
New shocks, blocks, U-bolts. Looks much better. It used to be a lowrider. Used to be a lowrider. Yeah, it looks nice.